pace to sell 48K. This is the first time in a while we've seen Young Thug's sales, while he's not in jail or dropping a project in jail, go in a reverse direction. Now, if this is the list of all of his albums that have sold. And if you look at it, So Much Fun was a crossing point for Thug. Once he hit So Much Fun, YSL was already established, but it was a phenomenal album, curated really good, and it did 131,000. He did 100,000 afterwards, and even when he was in jail, even though he couldn't talk a certain way, because obviously the records are going to be monitored by the court, and he couldn't diss certain people, and there were old records, Business is Business still did 89,000. Now, the long-awaited Young Thug Being Free album, which is now titled Ui Scuiti, came out and it only did 48,000. I like Thug, and I hope no one think I'm being facetious with these thoughts. This is a complete flop. And I'm going to give some constructive advice to Thug because I do think he's at that point. We get it. He has some issues with people who might not be friends anymore. He's trying to convince people of whatever. And I said this on Vlad today. The clip is not coming out yet, but I said Young Thug ruined all of his mystique. And it's because people found out his kryptonite. I always say, like, if I'm going back and forth with somebody online, I'm always trying to figure out their kryptonite. What makes them tick? When I figure out what makes you tick, I'm going to have a good time with it, right? And it could be whatever. It could be if you're sensitive about, like shit. It's like, for example, SZA. SZA's sensitive about her skin, her weight, the fact that she had 8 surgeries, like all of that. So I know how to get under her skin whenever I need to. That is the point with pretty much everybody. Like, shit, even me. I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know, maybe what that was or is. Like, I mean, maybe for a while, maybe my weight. I don't know. But there's always some way that's the kryptonite of even the person who looks the most unbothered. And I think we found it for Thug. It was questioning his street credibility or these snitch allegations. Young Thug has been acting out of character ever since he got out of jail. Ever since people started accusing him of doing such things, and ever since people are looking at like the narrative of him saying all these other people are rats, people are looking at it like some hypocrisy stuff, he's been damn near spiraling. The reason why I say that's his kryptonite is because usually for 90% of men, the kryptonite, if you want to get them to crash out or act out of pocket, is questioning their manhood. Yo, you gay as hell. Somebody might shoot you for that. They might go to jail behind that. Why? Because that's usually a trigger point for most men, especially black men in America. Young Thug wore a dress and was unbothered and unfazed for years. Did not care what we thought about him. He had dresses, makeup, he had whatever on. I used to make jokes about him all the goddamn time. He was unbothered. I told people, I said, I knew Thug was in an interesting spot. For all these years I've covered hip-hop, and granted, I've gotten bigger as a platform. I've never talked to Young Thug until about 2 weeks ago. I used to make all the thugger motherfucker jokes, all the jokes about him being flexible, all of that type of stuff. He never addressed me. He was like I never existed. They question if he's a rat. Thug is he can't have a good night of sleep. Spiraling. The mystique is gone. What I mean by the mystique, there was a time that we were like trying to figure out, and that's what most artists aim to do. It's great promotion when the fans are constantly talking about you, trying to figure you out. Damn, how does he make this great music? He wears a dress, he does this, and suppose he's like this big blood? And, yo, he always stood on a test? Damn. Watching Thug do this explanation thing, and this is why I don't even like him explaining these calls. It's not a Thug thing to do. Thug, I knew he would have just said, fuck it, if you with me, you with me. And by the way, also, I do think that Thug is suffering from, the pre-Meek Mill syndrome. Thug got to get off Twitter. Everything started really going downhill when Thug started tweeting too much, man. From the first tweet that says, whatever Wham says goes. Not one tweet has lasted or aged well. Let's be honest. The Thug that didn't speak, that never explained himself, the Thug that just basically lived in whatever your perception was, but he just kept dropping music, was the Thug that won. Now, I don't know. Like, the aura, pause. We don't even see it. Thug just looked like, and I'm not dissing him, I'm just speaking, just objectively, and really, like, I want to encourage him. Thug just looked like a nigga with a lean belly just walking around, bro. Like, even when he come on stage, it don't even look like, oh, shit, that's legendary. It just looked like, that's Jeffrey. And I hope y'all don't take that like I'm dissing him. But I'm telling you, a lot of what Thug did over the years was creating this mystique. It's a reason why people like Cardi makes you think he's a fucking vampire hanging upside down when you don't see him. Is he doing that? No. But that's the mystique. Damn, how is this motherfucker regularly? It's the reason why Uzi makes it seem like he might be devilish, he might be this, he might be that. But with Thug, I felt like we figured him out. Thug has been defending himself and clearing up every rumor to the point Thug wore a dress, they called him gay, never said nothing. Now Thug is saying the two things you don't want to be is a snitch and a gay person. It just goes to show that for most guys, not for most guys, but for street niggas, the ones who care about it a lot, still in their advanced age, attacking their street credibility is a very valid weapon. It will get them to crash out. So I'm watching Thug, but he looks very unfamiliar to me. These sales told me that Thug is in a place where he needs a career refresh and a restart. I don't care who are his friends. I don't care if him and Lil Baby still going to pop bottles and pop models or whatever they would do together.